श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्. Dear friends, we are in the second chapter of Taittiriya Upanishad. The Taittiriya Upanishad is divided into three books, and the second one is known as Brahmananda Valli, and there are 9 Anuvaka in that. So the importance of Brahmajnana is highlighted in this, and intermittently Shankaracharya throws light on the importance of few passages like Brahmavid Apnoti Param, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, and the hidden meaning of all these in the context of Advaita Vedanta is beautifully expounded by Adi Shankaracharya. And now we'll see how Shankaracharya takes us into the beauty of this Taittiriya Upanishad, Brahmananda Valli. So in the beginning of this Upanishad, Shankaracharya explains Atita Vidya Prapti Upasarga Prashamanartha Shantif Patita. So towards the end of the previous Valli, that is Shiksha Valli, there is the Dvadasha Anuvaka, the 12th Anuvaka. That is nothing but Shanno Mitrasham Varunaha, Shanno Bhavatvarihama. So that is also Shanti Mantra. And here in the beginning of this Brahmananda Valli also, a Shanti Mantra is again recited. So Shankaracharya explains why there is a Shanti Mantra at the end of the previous and in the beginning of this Valli. Says, in the previous one, Atita Vidya Prapti Upasarga Prashamana. So, in the previous Anuvaka, whatever Brahmavidya was explained, that Upasarga, that means whatever obstacles may occur there, so to ward off, to dispel those problems and hurdles, that particular Shanti Mantra is recited in the end of the Shiksha Valli. But now, there should not be any hindrances or obstacles in the study of the Brahmananda Valli. That means the present Valli. So another Shanti Mantra is being recited now as Sahana Vavatu, Sahanau Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahai, Tejasvinavadhitamastu, Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Now, Shankaracharya explains Sahana Vavatu. Now, Shishyacharya Saha Eva Avatu. Avatu means Rakshatu. So, may the Almighty protect both of us, the preceptor and the disciple. May He nourish both of us, Sahano Bhunaktu. Saha Viryam Karavavahai. May we, the disciple and the preceptor, obtain the required spiritual strength to pursue, to proceed in the path of spiritual enlightenment. Tejasvi Navadhitamastu. Now Adhitam. That means our understanding, our spiritual knowledge. Avadhitam Tejasvi Astu. So may that be Tejasvi. That is powerful, strong, and a kind of radiant. Arthajnana Yogyam Astu. So it says, Shankaracharya explains that our understanding of the Upanishad should be like that, by which we can easily grasp the purport of the Upanishad. So Arthajnana Yogyata, the ability to grasp the hidden meaning of the Upanishad, that should be there. That's why in another Shanti Mantra also we say, Mama Brahma Nirakarot, Maham Brahma Nirakuryam. So it is stated there that may the Brahman not keep me away, or may I not keep the Brahman away. So that means there should be a kind of connection between the Brahma and the seeker. Ma vidvishavahai. So we, the preceptor and the disciple, should not develop aversion towards each other. Ma vidvishavahai. That means if there is aversion between these two, then the vidya will not be properly communicated. So the vidya should be properly communicated, and for that purpose, there should be a kind of affection between the two and the reverence in the heart of the disciple towards his preceptor. So he says, Vidyagrahana nimittam shishyasya acharyasya va pramadakritat अन्यायाद विद्वेषः प्राप्तः तत् शमनाय इयम् आशीः मा विद्विषावहै इति. So it says that in the mind of the preceptor or the disciple, if there is a kind of aversion due to any pramada, that means a kind of mistake in the study swadhyaya, so that should not be there, because that particular mistake leads to aversion. Therefore, there should not be any feeling of aversion in their mind. Maiva itareteram vidvesham apadyamahai. So the prayer is that we should not develop any kind of hatred, animosity towards each other. Shantihi, shantihi, shantihi. Iti trir vachanam uktartham. So while explaining the Shanti mantra in the previous Valli itself, Shankaracharya has explained why there is 3 times Shanti. It is Adhyatmika, Adibhautika, Adi Daivika. So these 3 kinds of suffering or discomfort should be totally subdued. So for that purpose only, that Shanti, the word, is repeated 3 times. Vakshamana vidya vighna prashamanartha cheyam shantihi. And the present Shanti is to alleviate all the hurdles expected in the study of the present Valli, that is Brahmananda Valli. Avighnena atmavidya praptihi ashasyate. So what is expected here? Avighnena atmavidya praptihi. That means the realization of self without any obstacles is expected here. Tanmulam hi param shreyaha. Because the ultimate good is rested in self-realization. So therefore, the self-realization should never be averted. It should not be diverted. It should not be warded off. So everyone who studies this should properly get self-realization, because self-realization alone leads to the final good in the form of moksha. Thus, introducing the Shanti mantra to the readers, Shankaracharya now connects the present Anuvaka. Says, Samhitadi Vishayani Karmabhihi Aviruddhani Upasanani Uttani. In the previous Shikshavalli, various Upasana worships have been expounded, which are not against karma and which have various kinds of samhita also. Esha Mahasabhumhita Itya Chakshate. So different types of samhita is explained in the previous Shikshavalli, and in that valli only we come across all these Adhyatmika, Adibhautika, Adhividya, Adhijyotisha, Adhiprajam. So all these we find there, and Pankta Upasana is also explained in the Shikshavalli. And now the Brahma Valli begins. Anantaramcha Antaha Sopadhikatma Darshanam Uktam Yahriti Dvarena Swarajya Phalam. So in the Shikshavalli itself, after explaining all the Upasana, the Vyahriti, that means Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha, These three are the Vyahriti. And the result of these Vyahriti is also explained for the purpose of Swarajya. Actually, Swar Rajya, it becomes Swarajya because Dhalope Purvasya Dirghunaha, the Panini Sutra tells that when two Rakara come together, Swar Rajya, then the previous Rakara drops and the vowel gets long. So Swa remains, Rakara being dropped. So Swa becomes Swa Rajya. So everywhere it becomes so. Shambhur Rajate, Shambhu Rajate. Though it is similar, the form is used in that way. Similarly, here Swarajya means the kingdom in the form of Atma, Atma Rajya. And Nacha etavata asheshada samsara bijasya upamardanam asti ityataha. Now, Shankaracharya understands the importance of beginning this particular Valli. Why? Because na tavata asheshasya samsara bijasya upamardanam asti. Because you have all the Vyahriti there, and the result of the Vyahriti is also given there, and you have all the Upasana expounded there, but still, by that much you will not get the Anartha Upashama. That means the complete alleviation of all the samsara. So this is actually the Anartha. Anartha means a kind of calamity. So this Anartha can be removed only with the realization of self. And all the upasana, etc., will lead to ekagra, and karma will lead to chitta shuddhi. So therefore, the final purpose of Vedanta is not fully presented there, and a person studying that much will not definitely get the final result of the Vedanta. And for this purpose, the second Valli, that is Brahmananda Valli, is begun. So, ataha, for this reason only, ashesha upadrava bijasya ajnanasya nivrityartham. So, with a view to alleviate the ashesha anartha bijabhuta ajnana nivrityartham, to alleviate the ajnana, which is the root cause of all kind of calamity, and especially it leads to several births, and therefore that ajnana should be removed, and for that purpose only vidhuta sarvopadhi vishesha atmadarshanartham idam arabhyate brahmavidapnoti param ityadi. So this particular anuvaka, beginning with the words brahmavid apnoti param, presents the complete knowledge of Brahma, so that vidhuta sarvopadhi vishesha upam atmadarshanartham, so that a person can get the realization of the self as devoid of all conditions and adjuncts. So whatever is presented in the Upanishads as the final Brahma, the conditionless Brahma, so that is presented here again as the self, and this knowledge alone leads us to moksha. And now he says, prayojanasya asyaha brahma vidyayaha avidya nivrittihi tataha atyantikah samsara abhavaha. So finally we should understand that this particular anuvaka gives in us self-realization, brahma vidya, avidya nivrittihi, by removing the avidya, and that further leads to atyantikah samsara abhavaha, that will finally lead us to the absolute cessation of samsara, that means the cycle of births and deaths. So there is the cycle of births and deaths, and we will be taking births again and again, and if we take them, then naturally we will be subjected to suffering. And if we definitely desire to alleviate this suffering permanently, then Atma Jnana is the only way. And that Atma is being now described in this Anuvaka. Vakshaticha Vidwan na bibheti kutaschana. So this Taittiriya Upanishad itself says, Vidwan, the one who realizes is Vidwan, not just knows. Because knowing the words, knowing the sentences, knowing the text does not mean he is a person with self-realization. So realization is different. That realized soul is known as Vidwan, na bibheti kutaschana. So that kind of soul will not be afraid of anything. Anything in the sense, birth and death, old age, or diseases, anything. Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam Tattva Jnanartha Darshanam. In the Bhagavad Gita 13th chapter also, he said, one should always indulge in self-knowledge. That means a contemplation, self-contemplation. Who am I? And what is my true nature? And Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Dukkha Doshanu Darshanam. That is also that's also actually prescribed in the Bhagavad Gita, that this alone is knowledge, not just remembering the text or having the ability to explain the text also. This is actually not self-knowledge. So Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, Dukkha Doshanu Darshanam. So all the while, if we can understand the dukkha, the suffering caused by Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. So four things are there in the life. One is Janma, that is birth, and because of that there will be all these sufferings like Jara, Vyadhi, Mrityu, all will be there. So if we can understand the severity of the problem there, then we can detach from the worldly affairs and focus on only Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam. That's what he wants to say. And here, Vidwan na bibheti kutaschana, because he is so engrossed in the self, he is not afraid of anything, because everything is a part of nature's play, and therefore he is not at all connected with that. So this kind of uh, seclusion or detachment is known as vairagya. Samsara nimittecha sati abhayam pratishthancha vindate iti anupapanna. See, once the root cause of birth and death being there, you cannot expect complete good or final good in the form of moksha. And you cannot expect abhayam and pratishtha. Abhaya is fearlessness, and that fearlessness comes out of only knowledge. And second is pratishtha. Pratishtha means being fully placed in self-knowledge. So two things are there. Fearlessness leads to final position in self-knowledge, and this further leads to moksha. So this is known as Brahma Samstho Amritatvameti. In the Chandogya Upanishad also they said Brahma Samstha. Samstha ityasya samaptirityarthaha. The commentator also explains that Samstha finally means samapti. And Brahma Samstha means we should be finally established in the Brahman, and we should not waver from that experience. And that particular final establishment in the experience of Brahman itself is moksha. Moksha is not any result of jnana, but actually that particular moment itself is moksha. Kritakrite punya pape na tapata iti cha. And naturally vidhuya punya pape. So that kind of self-realized soul will shackle all these punya, papa, everything, and he will raise as a new fresh soul from that, and he is now realized. Ataha avagamyate asmad vijnanat sarvatma brahma vishayat atyantika samsara bhava. So from this we understand that the final removal of this samsara is possible only from sarvatma brahma vishayat asmad vijnanat. So from this realization that everything, all souls are nothing but the Brahman. Sarva Atma Brahma. So that's what the Upanishad says. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma, Ayamatma Brahma, Aitadatme Vidam Sarvam. So all these Upanishadic statements, they finally tell us one thing, that everything, whatever we perceive, is nothing but the Brahman. And if we fail in perceiving that, that is due to ignorance called avidya. And all our efforts should be placed on that. They should be focused on removing this avidya. This is very important. Swayamevacha prayojanamaha. And the Upanishad itself says it in clear terms. Brahmavidapnoti. Brahmavit, the knower of Brahman. Knower means experiencing. Brahmavit apnoti, gets. What does he get? Param, the ultimate. So whatever is the ultimate reality, the knower of Brahman gets it. But the paradox is very simple here, that what is to get and who is getting what? If everything is Brahman, then who is there other than Brahman to get Brahman? And what is this actually getting? So for that, actually, Shankaracharya explains in the Bhashya, and he has already explained in several other texts also, that it is all due to avidya upadhi, and once it is removed, actually there is no other reality than Brahman, and Brahma is the lone reality. That's what Bhagavad Gita said, Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavihi, Brahmaganav, Brahmana Hutam, Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam, Brahma Karma Samadhina. So this is a very beautiful description of the lone reality called Brahma, and that drushti, that vision, that outlook is very important. And once we get this cosmic egalitarian outlook, then definitely we will reach the final reality. Nirjnatayorhi and ityado eva sambandha prayojana jnapanartham. So the relation, the result, everything is stated in these, that what does he get? That is param apnoti. Who will get? That is brahmavit. So in this way, it is very crisply stated there. So that's why there need not be any doubt regarding what should one get, or who is eligible in the Brahmavidya. So all this is unnecessary, because Brahmavida Apnoti Param itself is the soul of this Upanishad. Nirjnatayor hi sambandha prayojanayor vidya shravana grahana dharana abhyasartham pravartate. So once you understand the result and the relation, then now you are assured. That means you have the certainty that all your effort is to get that particular one, and the Upanishad promises that, and the relation is also very clear there. And then vidya shravana grahana dharana abhyasartham pravartate. So naturally a spiritual seeker will put all efforts to get the Upanishadic knowledge, that is shravana, dharana, grahana. Then actually just listening to that is not enough. We should again contemplate on the meaning of the Upanishadic sentences, and dharana, grahana, these two are important. Grahana is receiving and dharana retaining. So receiving the knowledge from the teacher by way of hearing, and then retaining the knowledge received is very important. And the knowledge that is retained, that actually matures into experience. And Shravanadi Purvakam hi Vidya Phalam ityadi Shrutyantarebhyaha. So it is very clear in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad and other Upanishad also, that Atma Vare Drashtavya Shrotavyo Mantavyo Nididhyasitavyaha. So it has clearly stated that ultimately all our spiritual pursuit should begin with Shravana. Shravana, hearing. Shrotavyaha Shrutivakebhyaha. What does it mean, hearing? Hearing means hearing from a proper preceptor, that is Shravana. Hearing what? Hearing from him the true nature of self. If he is eligible, because he should be, as Mundakopanishad says, Shrotriyam Brahmanishtham. So two things are very essential there in the preceptor also. The preceptor should be Shrotriya, knower of all the Shastra, but at the same time, Brahmanishtham, he himself should be established in the Brahman. He should be Brahmavetta, not just bookish knowledge, but practice of that. And practicing philosophy is nothing but living that. And that person alone can become Acharya, And knowledge which is obtained from that kind of a teacher alone becomes fruitful. Acharyadhi vidya prapta sadhishta bhavati. So that alone becomes anupasita vidyanam vidya anupasita vruddhanam vidya nati prasidati. This is also from Bhartruhari Vakyapadiya. But here we should understand that proper qualified, that means spiritually qualified teacher is very important. And when a student fortunately gets that kind of a teacher, then all his inner impurity is removed and he will be eligible to receive that sacred knowledge in the form of Atma Jnana. And for that, the Upanishad begins now. Brahma vidapnoti param tadesha bhyukta satyam jnanam anantam brahma yo veda nihitam guhayam parame vyoman soshnute sarvan kaman सह ब्रह्मणा विपश्चितेति तस्माद्वा एतस्मात् आत्मन आकाश संभूतः आकाशाद् वायुः वायोरग्निः अग्नेरापः अद्भ्यः पृथिवी पृथिव्या ओषधयः ओषधीभ्यो अन्नम् अन्नात् पुरुषः स वा एष पुरुषोऽन्नरसमयः तस्येदमेव शिरः अयं दक्षिणः पक्षः अयम उत्तरः पक्षः अयम आत्मा इदं पुच्छं प्रतिष्ठा तदप्येष श्लोको भवति. This is the first mantra. This begins with Brahma vidapnoti param. This is a kind of proposition. A knower of Brahma will attain the ultimate. Tadesha abhyukta. But in that context, the tradition says, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. What is that Brahma with you said? What is that Brahma? Knower of Brahma is okay. But knower of Brahma means what has he known? What has he realized? What all our predecessors, the ancestors realized that Brahma, it is a word. But what does it stand for? Now he says, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Brahma is nothing but Satya, Brahma is nothing but Jnanam, and Brahma is nothing but Ananta. Yo Veda Nihitam Guhayam Parame Vyoman Saha. Whoever realizes that particular reality presented in the supreme space within the heart, because the Yoga Vasishta also says that the Akasha is of three types. One is Bhutakasha, another is Chittakasha, and other is Chidakasha. Now here he is talking about the Hridayakasha, that is Daharakasha or Chittakasha. There something is stored, Nihitam, Yo Soshnute, one whoever realizes that particular one hidden in one's heart, he attains Sarvan Kaman. So all his desires he attains. Attaining desires means, does he get all his desires fulfilled? See, this is again a paradox. You get so many desires and your Brahmajnana will fulfill all your desires. Is it so? But the problem is, actually, Havisha Krishna Martveva Bhuya Eva Bhivarthate. The more you enjoy the things, the more crop up new desires. So it is not that you should get all your desires fulfilled, but actually getting no desire itself is a great state. That is Nishkama. And that is the Saptadha Pranta Bhumi Prajna. The Yoga Sutra also says that you will reach a particular stage where you actually transcend all your thoughts, all your desires. So having no desire is actually the greatest siddhi. Saha Brahmana, and he doesn't get all these. Saha Brahmana Vipaschita iti, that Vipaschit. Brahma is Vipaschit. Vipaschit in the ordinary sense means Pandita, scholar. But Brahma is not a scholar. Brahma himself is Jnana. So he is Sarvajna. That's what Shastra Yonitvat says. So he is Sarvajna. Out of him only all the scriptures, all the sciences come. That means they get a shape. So he is the source of all knowledge. Therefore, Brahman is omniscient. And that Brahman and the knower of Brahman, they become one. And therefore, Saha Brahmana Vipaschita Sarvan Kaman Soshnute. So he enjoys all his desires there. And Tasmadva Etasmad Atmanaha. And when he is there with the Brahman, from that Atma only, Akasha Sambhutaha, first the space is born. Born means it manifests. And from Akasha Sambhutaha, Akashad Vayuhu, from that space only, within the space only, the gaseous element is produced. And that gaseous element has now not taken any solid shape, because the further transformation is still there, but now it is only in the gas form. Then Vayor Agnihi, and because there is a kind of friction, there is Agni. That means there is fire. Fire in the sense, whatever energy is released from friction, that is Agni. Agne Rapaha, and from that friction alone, a kind of bond is made, and that bond is in the form of water molecule. Adbhyaf Prithvi. So gradually from that gaseous state, the next stage is obtained. The next is Agni, that is energy. This is a kind of electromagnetic. And then we have the Adbhyaha, Agner Apaha, so the electricity. And from that only, the electromagnetic, the earth is created. Prithivya Oshadhayaha. And once this earth is created, after several billion years, it got cooled down. And when it has cooled down on the surface, then Oshadhayaha, all the trees and plants, they appeared on the surface of the earth. Oshadibhyo Annam. And out of this Oshadi, you find your food. Annat Purushaha. And according to Chandogya Upanishad also. So from this Anna only, the body is created. So the Annamaya Purusha is created. Because Purusha, if taken in the sense of soul, he is not created. So it is definitely the Annamaya Purusha. The body is created. And all the prani, all the beings are created from the Anna only. So Annat Purushaha, Sava Esha Purusho Anna Rasamayaha. And this particular person is nothing but the gross self. Gross, Shariratma. So that Sharira is one identity of the self. Though it is Adhyasa, it is one. Tasya. And when this body is created, physical body, Idameva Shiraha, what is on the top is the head. Ayam Dakshinah Pakshaha, there is the right hand. Ayam Uttarah Pakshaha, so this is the left hand. Ayam Atma, and here within the body there is the Atma. Idam Pucham Pratishtha, and in some beings you find the tail, which actually balances. So that is there. Tadapyesha Shloko Bhavati. So in this context, there is a shloka popularly transmitted throughout generations. And with this, the first mantra ends here. And now there is a big discussion on the importance of these words and the concepts. Shankaracharya now explains the Prathama Anuvaka in this manner, that Brahmavid Apnoti Param is the beginning of this. Brahmavid, Brahmeti, what is Brahma? Vakshamana Lakshana. Whatever characteristics we are going to explain, that Brahma. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Bruhattamatvad Brahma. Tad Vetti Vijanati iti Brahmavid Apnoti Param Niratishayam Tadeva Brahma Param. So Brahma Vetti. That means Bruhatvat Brahma, whatever is all pervading, whatever is endless, and whatever is always spreading, expanding. So that is Brahma, and that Brahma is the subject here, Brahmavid. So whoever realizes that cosmic Brahma, the cosmic reality as consciousness, he apnoti param, attains the ultimate in the form of Niratishayam Tadeva Brahma. What is the ultimate reality? That is Brahma only. Because there is nothing beyond that. There is no more reality than Brahma. So Brahma is the ultimate. Niratishayam. Nahi anyasya vijnanad anyasya praptihi. So this occurs at many places, that you realize something, so you will not get another thing. Whatever you realize, you get that only. So anyasya vijnanat anyasya praptirasti na. So this is the sentence. So nasti, this is the answer. That means you study all the while mathematics and expect the knowledge of some physics or chemistry is not possible. So whatever you study, you get that knowledge. So if you contemplate on the Brahman, you get Brahman only. Spashtancha Shrutyantaram Brahma Praptimeva Brahmavido Darshayati. So in the Mundakopanishad also, Sa Yoha Vai Tat Paramam Brahma Veda Brahmaiva Bhavati. So the Mundakopanishad also explains to us that when you contemplate and realize the Brahman, you become that. Brahma Veda Brahmaiva Bhavati. Because there is no difference between knowledge, knowing a thing, and the thing. There is no difference at all. It is that. So when we realize something, it means we have become that. So in the Yoga Bhashya also, Vyasa Maharshi says that when the mind is totally put on the worldly things, whatever is the object, when it is put on that, then it becomes one with that. That we experience in the state of deep sleep also. And that's why there is a sutra in the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, that is Kshina Vrittera Abhijata Seva Grahitru Grahana Grahyeshu Tatstha Tadanjanata Samapattihi. So this complete absorption, complete transformation is possible. So whatever limited things are given to the mind, it will take. Now, when the Brahman is given, the mind also can become Brahman. But how? Mind is limited. Brahman is unlimited and conditionless. How can it become? The only way is the mind will stop getting other thoughts, and it will be of the form of single thought, Nirvikalpa, and that Nirvikalpa will have the Brahman for its object. And that Nirvikalpa and Brahma will not be different then. And in that moment, that particular Nirvikalpaka Chittavritti, that removes all the other, and afterwards it also gets dissolved completely. And that absence of chitta is known as moksha. Chitta nasho hi mokshaha. Moksho nirvasanam manaha, etc. etc. Now, Shankaracharya is explaining that the Mundakopanishad also explains that the knower of Brahma gets ultimately Brahma. Nanu sarvagatam sarvasyatma bhutam Brahma vakshati. Oh, now you have been telling that Brahma is all pervading and the soul of everything, sarvasya atma bhutam, the soul of everything. Ataha naptyam. So therefore it cannot be obtained. How can you say it will be obtained? Apnoti param. It is actually unobtainable. See, if something is there other than myself, I can obtain it. If I am the reality, then how can I obtain myself? Praptischa anyasya anyena parichinnasya cha parichinnena drishta. So a limited thing can obtain another limited thing. So obtaining the Brahman is impossible. That is the objection raised. Aparichinnam sarvatmakancha Brahma. The Brahman is ultimately one. Aparichinna and other sarvatmaka. Aparichinna is endless, absolute. And sarvatmaka is the soul of everything. Ityataha, for this reason only, parichinnavat anatmavaccha tasya aptihi anupanna. So it cannot be obtained like any limited thing or like any inert, selfless thing. Not possible at all. Then Shankaracharya gives the answer. Nayam doshaha. It's not a problem. Kasmat darshanapekshatvad brahmana apti anaptyoho. Actually, when we are using the word prapnoti, apti, anapti, please understand the sense. That is darshanam, adarshanam. That is actually prapti. Not literally getting something in hands. It is actually darshanam, adarshanam. Darshanam is prapti, adarshanam is aprapti. What is darshanam? Darshanam means realizing. So, realization itself is darshana, that itself is prapti. And non-realization is adarshana, and that is aprapti. So, in this sense, we should understand the Upanishad word. Paramarthato brahmarupasyapi satosya jivasya bhutamatra krita bahya parichinna annamayadi atmadarshina tad asakta chetasaha prakrita sankhya purnasya atmanopi avyavihitasyapi bahya sankhye vishayasakta chittataya swarupa bhava darshana vat paramartha brahma swarupa bhava darshana lakshana ya avidyaya annamayadin bahyan anatmanah atmatvena pratipannatvad annamayadi anatmabhyo na anyaha ahamasmi ityabhimanyate. This is a kind of adhyasa. In this process, we say that jiva is, in its true sense, Brahmarupa. That means whatever is flowing in this body as energy is not different from the cosmic energy. That Brahma and this individual soul are not absolutely different. Paramarthataha, in the real sense. That means in the ultimate reality. Tadhapi, still, bhutamatra krita bahya parichinna annamayadi atmadarshinaha tadasakta chetasaha. But because of his beginningless avidya, the individual self perceives something as annamaya kosha, something as physical body. And this physical body is created by all these 5 elements only. Bhuta matra krita bahya parichinna. And therefore there is external limit, physical limit. So the Atma is distinct from the physical body. The physical body is created by the 5 gross elements only. And the soul resides in that because of avidya. Prakrita sankhya purnasya atmano avyavihitasyapi. So in this manner, if you see when 10 persons are asked by the teacher to cross over the sea or cross over the river or some water reservoir to reach another village and come back, they return, but they want to count whether all the 10 have returned or not. So while doing that, one person steps away and starts counting, and he counts only 9, and he forgets to count himself. And everybody repeats the same thing, not counting himself. Everybody counts only 9 and start lamenting. So a passerby stops, understands the cause of their lamentation, and comes and consoles them that now you count in my presence. There are 9 and the one you are counting, so you are the 10th. This is popularly known as Dashamaha Tvam Asi in the Vedanta. So you are the 10th. That means you include yourself. All the while you are excluding yourself and counting everything, and you are forgetting yourself, and that is the root cause of all suffering. So you include yourself, and this is actually Prakrita Sankhya Purana. This is very important, because if we go on searching for the reality objectively, forgetting the subject, then it will be incomplete search, and it will never give us the final result. Therefore, the Upanishads say that you include yourself. You are forgetting. What is the energy? What is that makes you speak, hear, see, think, do all the things? So that energy you are forgetting. And you are doing everything because of that energy, and you are forgetting that. Tadeva brahmatvam vidhi nedam yadidam upasate. The Upanishad, Kenopanishad says very clearly that you are forgetting yourself. And the one who prompts us to take all activities is verily the Brahman. So Brahman is that. Na idam yadidam upasate. So whatever we have been worshipping outside as the Brahman is not the Brahman. Because outside, whether it is Aditya, Vayu, Prithvi, Deva, anything, all this is not Brahman. Brahman is Tadeva Brahmatvam Vidhi, the source of all activities. That energy is Brahman. And Shankaracharya is now saying, Prakrita Sankhya Puranasya Atmanaha Avyavahitasyapi Bhashya Sankhya Vishayasakta Chittataya. So this way, one can include oneself in that and complete the number 10. Or then he actually is interested in the external things. Paranchikhani Vedruna Swayam Bhuhu. So the more he is involved in the external things, the more extrovert will be his understanding, vision, everything. And because of that, he will lose the great opportunity of realizing himself. Only one chance is given to every soul, and we don't know what will happen next. So Shankaracharya is saying, this way, Swarupa Abhava Darshanavat. So because of the engrossment in the external things, we forget about ourselves. Similarly, Paramartha Brahma Swarupa Abhava Darshan Lakshana Ya Avidyaya. So avidya in the form of engaging in external things and forgetting about the true nature of Brahman. Because of that particular avidya, Annamayadin Bhashyan Anatmanaha Atmatvena Pratipannatva. And because of that avidya, we understand all the external things like Annamaya, Manomaya, Pranamaya, etc. as Brahman. Annamayadi Anatmabhyaha, because actually they are all Anatma. Because whether it is the gross body, physical body, or mind, or intellect, or ego, all these are actually non-Brahman, Anatma. But we understand our true form as one of these only. Because the Lokayatika, or the common man, takes the body as the soul. He says, no soul, only I am means I am the body. And some people go above that, but they stop at the level of mind only. And some at the level of intellect only, like the Vijnanavadi. So all these are the levels, but all this is due to avidya. And he says, therefore, aham na anyaha asmi iti abhimanyate. So because of this, all these atheists who do not believe in the presence of a soul, what do they say? I am not different from these. I should be any of these. So that's why in the Western philosophy also, they had stopped somewhere like mind. Like Descartes, he said, mind is consciousness. And Carl Jung and other psychologists also stopped somewhere. So they didn't have a kind of, they could not go beyond that. And that final energy, ultimate consciousness is stated as Brahman and Atma in the Upanishads. Evam avidyaya atma bhupapi brahma anaptam syat. So that means the opponent have questioned us. How can the all-pervading Brahma be the object of Prapti? Obtaining Brahman is not possible. That was your objection. And our answer is, because of avidya, that Brahman, though all-pervading, though unlimited, is not obtained. That means actually not obtaining Brahma is in the secondary sense. Because it is unlimited, there is no question of not obtaining that. But just darshana, adarshana, that's what he made clear, that because we don't know due to our avidya, we are not sure of that Brahman, and the Upanishad wants to open our eyes to that reality called Brahman. So, Brahma can be anapta because of avidya. Tasyaivam avidyamana apta brahma swarupasya prakrita sankhya puranasya atmanah avidyamanasya avidyamana aptasya satah kenachit smaritasya punah tasyaiva vidyaya aptihi. So, yes, because of avidya, that Brahma Swarupa is unobtained. And when somebody comes like the passerby in the example and tells us that you are the one, Tattvamasi, then we realize, oh, this is Brahman. Then it is secondarily stated that this is Brahman. It is secondarily stated that the Brahman is obtained. So obtaining Brahman, not obtaining Brahman should not be taken in their primary sense. Kenachit smaritasya punas tasyaiva vidyaya aptihi. So through vidya or knowledge, we get that Brahman again. In the Kashmiri Shaivism, it is known as pratyabhijna. It's only recognition, realization. Tatha shrut yupadishtasya sarvatma brahmanaha atmatva darshanena vidyaya tadaptihi upapadyata eva. So you said obtaining Brahman is not possible, not logically possible. And our answer is because avidya hinders the vision. Once avidya is removed with the help of knowledge, then obtaining Brahman is nothing but realizing the Brahman, recognizing that. So that is possible. Brahmavidapnoti param iti vakyam sutra bhuta. So actually, it is the core thread of the entire Upanishad. Brahmavidapnoti param. One should always remember that particular vakya as sutra, because this is the sutra that connects so many Upanishadic sentences. Sarvasya valyarthasya brahmavidapnoti paramityena vakyena vedyataya sutritasya brahmanaha anirdharita swarupa visheshasya sarvato vyavritta swarupa vishesha samarpana samarthasya lakshanasya avisheshena cha ukta vedanasya brahmano vakshamana lakshanasya visheshena pratyagatmataya ananya rupena vijneyatvaya brahma vidyaphalam cha brahmavido yat parabrahma prapti lakshanam uktam sa sarvatma bhavaha sarva samsara dharmatita brahma swarupatmameva na anyat ityetat pradarshanaaya esha rik udahriyate tadesha abhyukta iti. Now, a big sentence, Shankaracharya explains, see, this particular Brahmavidapnoti param, this sentence is like sutra, the thread, a thread. So it, see, in the example, a thread connects so many things. It passes through so many things like a garland of flowers or a string of pearls. So anything, it can connect. It can make a string or it can make a garland. Similarly, this particular sentence, Brahmavidapnoti param, it actually connects the entire meaning of this Upanishad, because in the Upanishad that Vedya, the thing to be realized is Brahman only, and its true nature is not thoroughly known, and all the sentences help us in knowing the true nature of Brahman. Sarvato vyavritta swarupa vishesha samarpana samarthasya lakshanasya avisheshena cha ukta vedanasya brahmanaha. Now, what does this sentence do? So, discarding all the other vastu, then whatever remains is the Atma or the Brahman. So we should actually discard everything. And this particular Vidya is expounded in the later part of the same Upanishad. Annamaya, Manomaya, Pranamaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. Then he says, yes, you remove all these, 1, 2, 3. So whatever is the Parat Para and whatever is Anuttara, that is the Anandamaya. Whether that is Brahman or not is actually a matter of debate, and the entire Adhikarana in the Brahma Sutra also discusses. Anandamaya Adhikarana also discusses the same thing. Anandamayo Bhyasat Vikara Shabda Neti Chena Prachuryat and all the other sutra. So that Anandamaya is Brahma, Paramatma. This is the Siddhanta final theory of Shankaracharya. So this particular Upanishad, what does it do? It helps us discarding the Adhyasa at various levels, like the Sharira, that is Annamaya, then Manomaya, Pranamaya, Vijnanamaya, etc. So Uktavedanasya Brahmanaha Vakshamana Lakshanasya Visheshena Pratyagatmataya. So how should the Brahman be realized? It should be realized as the Atman inside, the knower, the speaker, the experiencer. He himself is the Brahman. In this way, all the other sentences will tell about Brahman. Brahmavido yat parabrahma prapti lakshana muktam. So Brahmavida apnoti param. So that Brahmavetta will get that Brahman. And that Brahman is the subject of the entire Anuvaka. Sa sarvatma bhavaha, and that realization is sarvatma. Everything is Brahman. Sarva samsara dharma atita brahma swarupatvam. But it is transcending the characteristics of all the samsara, all the physical world and psychological world. Because Brahman is not this, or you can say it is not this much. That's what our Adhata Adesho Neti Neti, that Upanishad also says, that after explaining about Murta and Amurta, the Upanishad says, now Neti, Neti. So with the word Neti, the Murta is negated, and with another Neti, the Amurta is also negated. So this way, negation is given there, but after negating everything limited, whatever you find as unlimited, conditionless, formless, attributeless, that energy is the Brahman. Prakrita etavatvam hi pratishedhati tato braviti cha bhuyaha. The Brahman Sutra also explains the same thing, that whatever is limited, that limitedness nature is negated. But the Upanishad itself says whatever remains as unlimited is the Brahman. So it doesn't support Shunyavada. That we should understand. And even in the 11th skandha of Bhagavata, you find similar sentence where it is said, Maya matram anudya, pratishidhya cha prasidati. So first it tells about the Maya world, then it negates everything, and ultimately it speaks about the Brahman as ultimate reality. So this is actually the process that Shankaracharya has got from his able teacher and tries to bless us with his sacred knowledge with this bhashya. So, sarva samsara dharmatita brahma swarupatvam eva na anyat. So whatever energy is flowing through his body is not different from that Brahma, which is conditionless, attributeless. So with this, etat pradarshanaya, so only to demonstrate this, esha ruk udahriyate tad esha abhyukta. So the ruk, rucha, that mantra is presented here with the words Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, etc. So this way, we should actually understand how and why the sentences are given in the Upanishad. It is reading between lines, because there you find only Brahma Vidapnoti Param. Shankaracharya has explained the sentence, and immediately after that, Tadesha. See, immediately after that, Tadesha Bhyukta, that sentence comes. Between these two, Shankaracharya finds so much meaning. And he says, actually, this Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, etc., this Rucha is given here to lead us to that particular realization of Brahman, that it is not different from the Atman. So we should not search for that Brahman outside. It is only the knower, the speaker, the understanding agent, or the experiencing agent. Tat tasminneva brahmana vakyokte arthe esha ruk abhyukta amnata. So this particular Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, this mantra is stated or mentioned or recited in the same previous Brahmana Vakya and in the same sense. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. So it is actually the sentence defining Brahman. It is not religious. It is absolutely philosophical and spiritual. And this particular sentence defining Brahma does not belong to any religion, any creed, any caste, nothing, any gender. To any spiritual seeker, this can give the same sense. Brahmeti Brahmano Lakshanartham Vakyam. So in a way, this actually defines the Brahman. If anybody says Brahman cannot be defined at all, because Brahman is always unintelligible, then it will lead to agnosticism of Spencer. So you can never know about the reality. That will be the problem. But Upanishads speak about Brahma in positive terms also, not always negative terms. Asthulam, Ananu, Akhraswam, Adirgham. Yes, there are negative terms. But at the same time, there are positive terms like Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. So this is the true nature of Brahman. Satyadinihi Trini Visheshanarthani Padani Visheshasya Brahmanaha. So Shankaracharya himself is using these words, Visheshana, Visheshya. So that which can differentiate from other is Visheshana. That which is differentiated is Visheshya. And Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, these three words differentiate the Brahman from everything else. Oh, from everything else means what is there? From which the Brahman is intended to be differentiated? That is nothing but the world, the Jagat. So Satyam, this particular word serves the purpose as differentiating factor from the Asatya Jagat. Because whatever is Asatya, limited, that is Jagat. And Brahman is Satyam. So from this only you should understand whatever is limited, whatever is unreal is not Brahman. For that you should understand what is Asatya. So Satyam. Satyam is, according to the Vyasa Bhashya, Yatharthe Vang Manase Satyam. So that is only pertaining to the speech, that your words should be truthful. But here, Satyam means Swasattam Navyabhicharati. That which is existent in the past, present, and future is Satya. And that is only the Brahman, not the world. Because in the world, everything disappears, everything decays, everything is destroyed after some time. So therefore, it cannot be absolutely real. The absolute reality will be only the Brahman, which pervades the three divisions of time. So Satyam is one Visheshana of Brahma, other is Jnanam. Then you understand whatever is Ajnana is not Brahman, because Jnanam is Brahman. Anantam, endless. So we understand from this that whatever has end in the world cannot be Brahman, because Brahman is endless. Now we should apply it everywhere. We should see, can it be Brahman? Can this be Brahman? Can this be Brahman? And with this, when we really try to get to the Brahman, then we understand that all the layers are simply discarded as Asatya, Ajnana, and Santa. So when everything is discarded, when the outer layers, inner layers, and innermost layers are removed, then whatever remains there is the Brahman. In the modern quantum physics also, the gross matter is broken into small tiny pieces called atoms, And there was a time when the atoms were regarded as the ultimate building blocks of the universe, but now the view is discarded because the atoms are also further divided. And we peep into the true nature of the atoms, we find there that it is only nucleus like proton and neutron, and the electrons are just revolving around in the outer shells. And when we again look into the matter, the atoms, the particles again inside, then we find the quarks, upside, downside, the charm, all these quarks. And again we look into the quarks, discarding that, no, not this, again inside. Then we find the quantum, that is the energy packets. And again we look into that, because the quantum word given by Einstein means energy pocket, energy store. But actually there is nothing but field. That's what Rutherford and even Eddington said, for fields. And what are the fields? Nothing but they exert force. Fields are there. And if you look inside, there is nothing but energy. That is the Brahman, and that is the energy that manifests itself in various forms. And in its true nature, it is neither electromagnetic, it is neither gravitation, it is neither strong nuclear force or the weak nuclear force. It is the singularity. So it is the Brahman, and everything else, it's actually manifesting, and these are the levels of manifestation, and at all levels there is something called gross in relation with the previous. It may not be gross as such, because there is grosser also, but in comparison we have some other reality, and finally where we stop, that is the Brahman. So this way everything else should be discarded. Whatever is asatya, whatever is ajnana, whatever is santa should be discarded as unreal. Then only we can get on to the real as Brahman. Ataha asmad visheshna visheshatvadev satyadini ekavibhatyantani padani samanadhikaranani. Then yes, because there is this kind of visheshna vishesha bhava, satyam jnanam anantam, all these three words are in the same case ending, and they actually relate to the Brahman. Satyam Brahma, Jnanam Brahma, Anantam Brahma. So this way each one relates to the Brahman. Samanadhikaranani. So they are all ending in the same case. That is Prathama Vibhakti Ekavachana. Satyam Brahma, Jnanam Brahma, Anantam Brahma. So this way. So thus we come here to an important discussion. We stop here, and we'll see how Shankaracharya will take us into the deep meaning of the Taittiriya Upanishad Brahmanandavalli in the coming classes. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Lokashankaram Asmat Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.